Chowder. Everyone loves Chowder, and if you don't, you're lying. Chowder was one of the more memorable shows that came out of CN's Silver Age, I guess I'll call it, before the Dark Age of CN Real. And yeah, it's easy to see why. It's super bright and colorful in its setting, its characters have such big personalities, and the world and plot are super imaginative and wacky. And of course, its humor is hilarious. It's simultaneously so smart, but also stupid, and I'm amazed about how well it works. It's mastered nonsense humor more than any other show I've seen, and it still makes me laugh to this day.
Yeah, that way! I don't trust the look of that sun.
Darn, I almost had him.
I mean, it's not as funny as Gumball, but nothing is as funny as that show. It might be Cartoon Network's second funniest show, maybe more than Mao Mao, but I have a hard time saying that. The story of a gluttonous chef's apprentice working in a catering company in a wacky world lent itself to so many good episodes. It had plenty of great and super memorable episodes. Tofu Town Showdown is freaking peak. But one of the most memorable episodes is the Christmas special, Hey Hey, It's Knishmas, aired on December 4th, 2008, and while it is structured very much like a normal episode of Chowder, it does have some surprising moments and characterizations, which is very fitting for a Christmas special, but is also surprising since the show is pretty much pure comedy. So let's go into how Chowder changes things up for its Christmas or Knishmas here. We start out the special, surprisingly enough, with stop motion. I really love how Chowder is so creative with its animation style, going from just an old 2D animation to stop motion to even live action puppetry often seen in the end credits. It gives nice Rankin Bass Christmas vibes. We get stop motion gazpacho explaining Knishmas, where it's pretty much the same as normal Christmas, with the exception of Kringle, a weird caterpillar-like being who, like Santa, gives out presents by throwing them up if they'd like the gingerbread house you have. But if they don't, they'll go into a rage and destroy it and your home. Which honestly does not seem worth the risk, but presents are presents. With that exposition set up, we go to the winterfied Marzipan City. Man, it looks gorgeous! Chowder has such great looking backgrounds, with its intricate designs, and especially the use of bright tie-dye watercolor for color and texture, making it look so bright and lively, combined with the Indian-inspired architecture making it so unique and great to look at. And the color overlay over the white snow makes it so gorgeous and unorthodoxly Christmassy. We see Mung buy a Christmas tree from Arbor, who was in a previous episode, though they say they're using their cousin, which is concerning, especially like this is how actual Christmas trees are used after. Plus, why do they need trees if they established that gingerbread houses are used for Kringle? Okay, trying to reason continuity and plot holes in Chowder is a losing battle, just have fun with it. Schnitzel is also in the festive mood, good for him, as he sings a song.
Rada, 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 rada.
You know, I really wonder if getting such a voice acting legend like John DiMaggio and then making him say nothing but Rada is the dumbest or greatest idea ever. But we see Chowder obsess over, how did they say, electric broccoli trimmer with a detachable non-electric cauliflower trimmer, and swears to get it this Knishmas. And yeah, it's really weird that Chowder would want that. If anything, it feels like something Mung would want being the actual chef. But it's really just a MacGuffin for the story that could be swapped out with a toy or a special food Chowder really wants. It's just something to serve the story, and all we need to know is that's what he wants. Mung says it's too expensive to buy, but Chowder is certain he'll get it for Knishmas, which he says because he's a good boy, but didn't they establish any traditional naughty or nice structure? It's just they have to make a good gingerbread house? Again, Chowder, pedantic. Mung looks nervous about it, but Chowder runs to Kringle in a meet and greet, running by Gorgonzola and his master Stilton doing something. Gorgonzola is Chowder's rival, bully, antagonist, it's hard to say.
I'm going to kill you. Mung, I want to go home!
And points out that Kringle here is just gazpacho, which Chowder refuses to believe.
No! You are a weaver of lies!
I also really gotta highlight Dana Snyder's work as gazpacho. The dude is freaking iconic, and his performances are so good and hilarious, and especially how he plays gazpacho. He's also doing great voicing Scratch from Ghost of Molly McGee, which I really should keep watching.
We're going to murder him!
What?
But when the three get there, they meet Mung's rival and arch nemesis, Endive. By the way, I legit want to know how many of you guys learned the character names in Chowder before you heard the actual foods they were named after. Show of hands. Who is also bringing Panini to see Kringle.
I'm bringing my ward to see gazpacho.
Wait a minute, Ward? As in, adoptive child? Huh? I mean, it's always been up in the air, but that terminology confirms it.
A doormat? I thought you were a ward of the state! I thought you were my conscience.
By the normal definition, that means all the apprentices we see are orphans that got adopted by their masters. Wow, that's kind of messed up. Is that what we never learned about their parents? Also, according to the series finale, it means that every chef needs to adopt a child as their protege. I'm probably looking too deep into this, but it's what the episode is implying. Speaking of Panini, I should probably get to the elephant in the room, and I'm not talking about gazpacho.
I didn't say nothing.
Panini isn't liked by a lot of people due to her obsessive nature and crush on Chowder to his visual discomfort. And yeah, like, while I do 100% see where they're coming from, and understand if people hate them, I don't mind them. Mostly because it's played like how little kids would do this, like 7 to 8 year olds with cooties, and is super over the top to the point of ridiculousness. So I can't really take it seriously, and it's mostly just used for jokes. Besides, Panini is in a weird limbo of being Chowder's friend, kinda. They just get super annoyed when they get all lovey to him like a little boy would. So yeah, honestly I don't think it's that bad. Also, she's really funny. But Endive takes the opportunity to point out to Chowder that there's a reason Kringle never gives him anything.
Oh, that's because Monk says Bigfoot sneaks in and smashes his gingerbread houses before Kringle gets there.
Wait, I thought this universe had big food, not Bigfoot. And oh my god, am I just going to make a Chowder continuity doesn't matter counter, aren't I? Endive says it's because Mung can't build a gingerbread house for the life of him, but Mung defends himself as Dwight Schultz puts all into his performance.
Woman, you are one giant lump of coal!
Man, Chowder's voice cast is so freaking good, but Dwight especially to me stands out. Also, I can hear Dr. Animal from Ben 10, which is fun to swap.
Mark my words, this will be Chowder's best Knishmas ever! Humbug! Young fool, you cannot stop me! I will turn Washington, D.C. into Washington, B.C.
We also see Chestnuts in this episode, voiced by Tone Loc, who I only know because of this Nostalgia Critic joke.
Tone Loc? Stop following me, Tone Loc! Or is it Tone Lo? Tone Loc? Tone Loki? Tone...
But Snitzel goes to gazpacho like a little kid and lists what he wants. People get annoyed by him saying he's too old for this, but considering Snitzel is the most abused character in all of fiction, he's earned the right to be happy. But Chowder can't take Snitzel being happy instead of him, and tackles him away to the constant misery that is his life. Chowder says he wants the broccoli trimmer, and Gazpacho Pinky swears he'll get one, but that makes Mung really nervous. Back at the home, Truffles tells Chowder that Mung has never made a decent gingerbread house in his life, as he reluctantly admits to his shame. But Chowder urges Mung that he can, as it inspires him to get to work. And so after this pretty good double gag,
Gingerbread house that we're building.
they get to work and sing a catchy parody song of Oh Christmas Tree, filled with other great jokes. Including this one lyric that pretty much encompasses every single endeavor I've ever had.
As the roof goes on, and nothing can go wrong. Oh no, it all went wrong!
And yeah, no matter what they do, the gingerbread house ends up falling apart. And you know what? I'm not blaming Mung for this one, since this really seems to be more an issue with architecture and construction than cooking. But yeah, they can't get it right no matter what, as Chowder gets worried that he won't get his present and runs out to find a backup plan. Mung gives up and blames Snitzel, as Truffles says he should swallow his pride and buy a gingerbread house. Mung refuses, as his reputation as a famous chef is too much for him, but he thinks of a possibility where Chowder awakens the next morning to see the house destroyed and without his present, and then seeing Chowder so completely distraught and running away. And it breaks Mung's heart so much that he goes off to do so. And my god, this scene is beautiful. The somber soft blues and whites of the snow gives off such melancholy, yet lovely atmosphere that makes you feel the way Mung is. It has such good lighting and coloring that I seriously have underappreciated Chowder's background work. The shots are comprised very well too. Also, I feel I should talk about the pattern overlays. Chowder is one of the most unique approaches to texturing I've ever seen in a cartoon, by having every character's clothing be overlaid by a pattern that doesn't move as they walk through it. It makes such a weird but memorable effect that's easy on the animators, yet keeps so much detail in the designs and outfits. It's really great. And it works very well with the art style, especially the intricate backgrounds as before.
I can't believe it's come to this.
Wow, that's needlessly dark.
But this was a kid show!
But here we get to the most important scene, where Mung goes to Endive's house. And Chowder catches him going there, and Endive mocks Mung, relishing his moment of weakness, with Mung painfully admitting that he wants to purchase a gingerbread house from her. Just to remind you, Endive and Mung hate each other to the point of going to war. They take every opportunity to screw the other over, and neither will falter to the other. Mung would literally rather die than admit she's the better chef, and yet, he does here to make Chowder happy. This is the first and only time he's ever done this in the series, and it's really one of the most important and meaningful character moments in the entire show. And it really goes to show how much Mung Doll really cares about Chowder as if he was their own son. It's really unlike the other apprentices we see, with Endive pretty much treating Panini as a servant most of the time, and Gorgonzola especially is implied to have gone through some abuse by Stilton.
Stilton's hard on you, huh? Stop it! That's just the pain talking. I try so hard!
So it's really important to show how much Mung really cares about and truly loves Chowder, to the point where he gave up all his dignity to make it happen. It's very impactful if you've seen this show. Though, at the same time, there are other chefs introduced in this city. Couldn't he get one from the other ones like Chef Hollandaise? Okay, add that to the counter. But after gloating, Endive gives them the gingerbread house as Chowder sees and can't believe Mung would sacrifice himself like that and has to do something about it. And he inexplicably gets Panini's help. You see, he really doesn't hate her. And Panini takes charge, memeing a random guy passing by to do so because of the power of love.
That was love power, I tell ya. Love power!
Going to Gazpacho, he pleads for him to eat and like Mung's gingerbread house. It's also a surprisingly mature moment for Chowder himself, as he doesn't want the trimmer anymore, and instead just wants Mung to be happy. This fills Gazpacho with such guilt and pressure that he admits to his lies and has a breakdown, running away and leaving behind his suit. And yet Chowder still 100% is convinced he was real.
Great idea! We can use Crinkle's lifeless skin sack as a costume and pretend we're him!
But they need one more person to fit inside the suit. So they grab Gorgonzola, literally freezing to death outside. Did Stilton just abandon him? Also ironic, as he is literally able to create giant flames at will. But then again, his flame has some connection to his life force, and if it's extinguished, he'll die or something. Is he Charmander or something? But then in Apprentice Scout, he's completely fine if it gets extinguished, so what's going on? Okay, again, Chowder continuity, added to the counter. Gorgonzola says he's only going along with it to get some of Chowder's body heat to keep him warm. Chowder tells his plan is for them to pretend to be Kringle and get Mung's attention, destroy Endive's house and make it seem like they hate it, and enjoy Mung's in an attempt to get his dignity back. But as Chowder is distracted, the real Kringle arrives down the chimney, as freaking weird as ever. He can't even speak, he just goes bleh. They see the other kids and start kicking them, and Gorgonzola and Panini start fighting. Chowder tries to quickly race against Kringle to get to the house, as they fight back, creating a huge ruckus that wakes up Mung before Kringle kicks them into the air. But luckily, Panini pulls a Cream the Rabbit and helicopters them, which they probably should have done before. But Kringle uses smokescreen, but Gorgonzola uses candle in a Rudolph homage to light through it. And Chowder eats the entire house whole to Kringle's dismay. Nice how all the kids had a role in this climax. Mung asks why Chowder would ruin this, but Chowder says that this is a day of happiness, and he couldn't let Mung be so miserable for his sake, even if he has to give up his own happiness. And it moves Mung and even Kringle. Chowder also thanks Gorgonzola for his help, and gives him a fur coat made from Gazpacho's hair that he found in the soup to keep him warm. Don't think about it too much. Gorgonzola is moved to tears over this, and says it's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for him. Which, again, is Gorgonzola being abused? Is that why he's so sour and mean to other people? There is a story here that needs to be explored. Chowder also quickly thanks Panini for all their help and gives her a little kiss, which is really sweet. You see, he does care about her. Chowder's glad everyone got what they wanted, but Mung says he didn't. Chowder says that it's fine and he'll wait next year, and I'm sure he'll be a better boy, and Mung will make a better house, and Kringle will be happy with all of them. And Kringle is so moved by Chowder's sacrifices and goodwill that he disgustingly vomits up a present for him that has the trimmer he's wanted. And the episode ends with him showing it off to everyone as they, and even Stop Motion Gazpacho, wishes the viewer a Merry Knishmas. Now, it's kind of hard to judge a show like Chowder on its Christmas special compared to like Adventure Times that had a huge story reveal, or Ben 10 that's completely insane and unfitting, or Invader Zim's where it's used to make an unsettling story. Chowder is very episodic, and it's just fun adventures with characters who never really grow. So it's really surprising to see how it handles its Christmas episode like this. I mean, yeah, sure, it's wacky as usual, this is Chowder. We got a story about Caterpillar Santa vomiting presents into like your life-size gingerbread house so Chowder can get tools to shave broccoli. But I think the character moments and emotions really make it special. It really takes the show in arguably a new level not really seen before of what feels like genuine character development, even if in the long run it changes really nothing. We get so many great and important character moments, like Mung swallowing his pride and ego he's had for the entire series and giving into Endive's vanity just to make his apprentice happy and give him a present. And Chowder, who's pretty much just a little kid who constantly yells about what he wants, gladly giving up his own happiness for the sake of making Mung happy and keeping his dignity. And even more with the brief bits of characterizations we get from him, also making Gorgonzola and Panini happy as well. For a primarily comedy series, it's so great to get genuinely wholesome moments like this, and it works so well for the holiday season. I really don't think this special would be as strong as it is without it, since it really does carry a lot of that Christmas spirit. Hell, maybe that's why it's memorable enough to get the fan reanimated treatment a few years back. Check it out. It's funny, it's beautiful, and it's super heartfelt. I think that's what makes this special truly memorable and definitely one of Chowder's best episodes. Well, it would be, but it didn't have my boy Ceviche in it, so it sucks.
Padidi, what comes after number 29?